You know, a lot of really talented and amazing femme cosplayers on the BG3 subreddit inspired me to finally man up and do my own Shadowheart crossplay. You know, I love the art of cosplay so much. I'm sure all the guys in the Baldur's Gate 3 subreddit feel the same way, right?
Women. Hate them. Cosplayers? Ugh. Hate them. Baldur's Gate 3? Hate that. No, dude. Oh, we like that. Yeah. But women cosplayers and Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, we like that. No, dude. Oh, we hate those. Yeah, thank you, man. Exactly. These disgusting sluts are putting these pictures on the internet for free. Yeah, I mean, don't they know that I'm looking at these pictures? Ugh, they should know better, really. I mean, seriously. These women, you can even call them that, they make me think of an old saying. I mean, look at these people. The model above, she looks like she has the choice to have lots of sex. She's probably not a nerd. Not fair? Well, neither's being born attractive. Let the nerds have something. Not everyone was born with good looks or enough power and wealth to compensate. You have to tell people you're a nerd. Chances are you're not. Nerds don't have to advertise their status. We know. Being a nerd is a byproduct of losing yourself in what you do, often at the expense of friends, family,
hygiene. Sorry.
Until or unless you've paid your dues, you haven't earned the right or reason to call yourself a nerd. Being a nerd isn't graceful or glorious. It's a life born out of obsessive dedication to a craft, discipline, or collecting some stupid crap that only you care about. If you think geeks are sexy or cool, bang one. Go to your university and find a computer or physics lab at 2 a.m. and take your pick. Until then, go commit cultural fraud someplace else.
Look, I'm not trying to say all cosplay is a masterpiece, but some of you guys need to chill out. Been wanting to share this one for a bit. It was very much a that guy story with sprinklings of, well, you'll find out as you read. Also, apologies for that length. The relevant people involved: me, the author of the story; Artificer, my brother; Warlock, my friend who is non-binary, which will be relevant soon enough; Fighter, my other friend; DM, another friend; and Rando, the problem player. My brother and I have been playing D&D since the beginning of 5th edition, and we wanted to try to get into Magic the Gathering at the beginning of last year. We love both D&D and Magic, but only ever found time for Magic because constantly setting up D&D groups is like bedrock. Hard as heck. But we got to play Magic at least, so our nerd fixes were met at least. That was until we saw the DM, Warlock, and Fighter playing D&D. By this point, we were acquainted with each other, and I was interested in joining the campaign. I asked to join, and we did the following week. It was a level 11 campaign set in the Magic the Gathering universe, where our characters were planeswalkers, beings that can jump from realm to realm, set during the events of the Phyrexian invasion. I'm not looking that up, don't even bother. Where we needed to stop them from consuming the realms. It was really fun with a planewalking mechanic similar to a wild magic chart, but it's not important. We have some other players in the game, but they only showed up for like 40% of it. Okay, on to the actual story. This was the session after we defeated Atraxa with a 1933 Cadillac, a 352 Town Sedan, and a T-Rex made of vines in New Capana. Long story. When Rando first appeared, I'd never met him before, and he wanted to join, so my DM asked if we were cool with it, and we said yes. What a mistake that was. In the first session he joined, there were already problems. For starters, most of our group is LGBTQ+, me included. I'm bisexual. And we're all expecting of each other. Expecting what? A baby? We're fine with a joke here or there about us all being queer, as long as it's in jest and it's actually funny. He finds out that I'm bisexual and proceeds to make almost every gay joke imaginable towards me. and only me. I don't remember if it was the whole session, but it was for like a good bit of it. I tried turning him out, but it was a non-stop hour of the same gay jokes at my expense, and I was too nervous to tell him to stop. Other than that, that was it. But I very much don't like the guy. My brother told me later that he was close to punching him for an hour because how he was targeting me with these jokes.
Huh. I think gay people shouldn't have any rights.
Isn't that kind of messed up?
Ugh, Snowflake, have you ever heard of dark humor?
Only on Netflix. The second session we came to had fewer gay jokes directed at me, so that was a step up. Then, as we played, it went downstairs. Warlock is non-binary and goes by they, them pronouns. They made it clear to everyone, including Rando when he joined. And he didn't even use their proper pronouns once, being corrected numerous times because he isn't listening or just didn't care. Even at one point calling them it. That clearly upset Warlock and everyone else. What's more is that he was disgusted, just burping and farting loudly without a care, never saying excuse me or sorry, just laughing it off and being rude about it. Apparently he was playing a homebrew Rouge subclass that we didn't know about until he rolled an Arcana check of 27 when he rolled a 7 on his d20. His proficiencies were all plus 20, and none of his other skills were filled out. All of us were like, what is this? I don't remember what his excuse was exactly, but he thought that proficiencies were multiplication, not addition. I get it.
First grade math is just really tough. This D&D scandal just keeps on getting worse. Wizards of the Coast needs to step it up.
Fire asked him what subclass he was playing. He was weirdly protective of it, saying it was a friend's piece or some BS, until he relented and showed Fighter and DM. From what I heard, it was overpowered. Really? But for some reason, he wasn't kicked by then. He had 2 sessions left. On the third one, we all hated Rando and it was affecting our campaign. When he came in, he brought what we thought was his dog. Turns out, his friend asked him to watch his dog for the weekend, telling no one, and he just brought this friend's dog into the store. Yes, he took someone else's dog with him to the store and thought that was a good idea. Wasn't even a service dog. The poor dog. Poor thing was not having a good time with the loud and packed game room, barking and whining, as well as trying to get to our snacks. I don't know how the owner let that slide. His usual crap continued, misgendering Warlock, making gay jokes at my expense, just being real gross. The fourth and final session with Rando came, and we were just done with him. Me, Artificer, Warlock, Fighter, and DM talked about him and what to do with him. It got to the point where we didn't want to play anymore if he was still there, and nearly lost our drive to play as a whole, dealing with him. But we also didn't want to be dicks about it and kicked him out as politely as possible. Did you kick him out politely while he was like farting in your face? The DM decided that after this session he was done. Nothing really grand happened when he was booted. I wasn't even there, so I don't know exactly what happened. But as the DM was explaining that we wanted to boot him out of the game, he packed his stuff and he left without a word. That was the end of Rando's story at our table. The sessions were much better and we continued to have fun. But like most D&D games, the number one killer of campaign struck again, just scheduling. People moved out of the state, lived their lives. I'm sad about it because we were just about to reach the finale. Hey, there's always online D&D. I mean, my friends all moved away too, and we still keep up through the online space. Internet's a wonderful thing if you want to try it out. But in any case, yeah, Rando was not welcome at this game table and just... he was not doing himself any favors. I mean, the misgendering and the gay jokes, that's one thing. But I mean, just for starters, nerds gotta worry about their hygiene. Like, seriously. Like, God, at least have the dignity to apologize. Lordy lord. But back to the main point. It doesn't matter what jokes you're making. If no one is laughing, they're not funny. They're no longer jokes. You're just annoying. The people around you don't owe you laughter because you think it's funny. That's not how jokes work. If no one's laughing, you're just a bad comic. So, some context. I'm the forever DM of my group, we have an established group, and we have fun playing together, and we have a couple of different systems and games, but mainly D&D 5th edition, in which I ran a homebrew campaign online for 2.5 years. I managed to maintain almost weekly sessions, accommodating to everyone's schedules, and while I liked it, it did wear me off. Naturally, I tried to encourage the other players to DM, but none really seemed interested. After a while, one of my players, let's call them Green, told them they had DM'd before, and they wanted, as a birthday present, to run a one-shot for me. I was so excited and offered to help in anything they needed to get things set up. However, my birthday came and went, and there was no mention of the one-shot.
You broke my heart. You broke my heart.
It was brought up once or twice, but nothing serious. The next year, with the campaign now finished, Green came to visit my hometown for unrelated reasons and told me we could play the one-shot in person, since usually we play online because we're all from different places. They told me a bit about their ideas for the one-shot and tried giving a hint that I immediately picked up on, that there would be a false Hydra. I made a whole video. Just watch it. I didn't say anything and simply went along with it since I'm not in the place to be picky. Besides, I was still supposed to have chances to roleplay and do stuff. I just wanted to scratch the itch of actually playing D&D. Baldur's Gate 3 helps, but it's not the same. The following weeks, there was no mention of the one-shot. Green was staying for a month, so I came to terms that day that it was just not happening. Later that month, we arranged to meet up with our friend group the day before they were leaving. It was unrelated to anything until Green, the night before the meetup, told us to think of level 3 characters. I'm running the one-shot tomorrow. This was not our usual gaming group mind, and while they had played before, they were more like the pretzels and beer type of D&D players, not used to the tone or rules that Green was going for. I know that's a lot of preamble, so let's get to it. The fated one-shot, bro. So we're off to a great start. There were not enough chairs in the apartment for all of us, so for some reason, someone suggested putting together some mattresses on the floor, and we all just played sitting there. I do not need to tell you how uncomfortable and non-conductive to tabletop gaming it is to play on the floor. So now we're making 4 characters on the spot with no books, so we're looking at everything online and on the floor. It took us close to an hour and a half just to do this, and since I was the usual GM, I was mostly helping. Once we finished, Green did an impromptu session 0, told us about the tone, asked for our boundaries, nothing crazy, but it was appreciated, and we finally started playing. Honestly, I'm proud for how rushed this is. I'm surprised you had a session. Hey!
Guys! They had a session 0! Come on! It'll be your turn to get killed next time. We won't!
Green then narrated our characters arriving at the place of the quest in groups of 2, each pair deciding to know each other before the one-shot started. But if we didn't, I have no doubt they would have narrated each of us just like arriving on our own. With no exaggeration, this introduction, which I think should have been just an off-screen interaction before starting, lasted around 40 minutes in real life. In the end, it basically amounted to merch has disappeared, the last group that went looking for it also went missing, get to the town in the next caravan. I worry about sounding ungrateful, but this was a slog. The travel narrative was also slow and a bit repetitive. Green kept on looking at their notes and seemed to be about to introduce something. I was told by them after the session had ended that they planned to put an encounter or situation there, but we were role-playing and having fun, so they just kept putting it off, and we simply just arrived. To be clear, the role-playing was making light conversation with the caravan's pilot, since there was nothing else to do while traveling, and me casting a cantrip because, again, nothing was happening. We arrived with the caravan dropping us off far from where we had to be, so we had to walk, and the mayor of this town receives us and basically tells us what we already knew. I took advantage of the fact that I was playing a grumpy, kind of asocial dwarf to try and be a bit dry in conversation, so we could try to move faster during these conversations and skip some of the formalities to move into actually investigating the missing persons. By this time, one of the players, Green's partner, started simply looking at TikTok, so they just stopped playing. Bro, how are you supposed to focus?
Life leaves
Please
you.
don't. We'll throw you
What are
into
your
the
last
back seat.
words?
Almost immediately. Okay, but
We went to the tavern and asked a few questions for some gold pieces, and we got some info that really meant little to us because, well, this should have been the first 30 minutes of the session, not the last. By the time we finished conversation with the tavern keeper, half the party had to go back home. Counting character creation, we've been playing for 4 hours and likely had rolled dice twice. So to wrap things up, Green said that we should continue this one-shot online to finish it. I thanked them for running the session, said I had fun, and we all went our separate ways. It's been a month and a half, and no mention of the one-shot has been made. No group chat, no message, no nothing. I'm grateful for my friend for trying to gift me a session, and I'm not mad at them. I know a lot of what transpired was not their fault. I would lie if I said I had no fun. I still goofed on with my friends. I'm just a bit frustrated. I want to start running sessions again, but I would like to actually play at least once before doing so. Anyway, thanks for reading. I hope I'm not coming off as ungrateful or whiny. Keep up the good work, Crispy. Not whiny at all, dude. Look, at the end of the day, a gift is a gift, but a gift can be bad. I've definitely experienced D&D games like this where I'm just bored. It's nothing horror story inducing. It's just not something that's holding my attention, either because of a lack of compatibility or just an inexperienced DM. I think this person was trying to make a D&D game happen, which is just a bad idea. You need the right group, the right circumstance. I'm not trying to make it sound like rocket science, but just gathering a bunch of random people and playing with no prep, no nothing, that's not going to work out, no matter how good your intentions are. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I count myself pretty fortunate that outside of a few exceptions, I've had pretty much a horror-free experience with TTRPGs. Well, that's another horror-free D&D game! One of my funniest horror stories, however, unfortunately happened at a really inopportune time with a full party of brand new players. I first started playing D&D in junior year of high school with some of my best friends in the world, and later ended up moving for college. I was by no means an experienced dungeon master by this point, but had a couple of years of playing and a few successful one-shots under my belt, and decided to take up the task of starting a game at college. Actually, getting a game started to take a while, since I spent my first year making friends and figuring out exactly how I could even play on my campus at all. Brief tangent for flavor, I went to a Christian college in California. But I heard on Fox News that California was full of Satan-worshipping Christian haters. Not to get political or anything, but yeah, while most of the student body was extremely chill, there was still some bits of satanic panic lingering amongst the school's policies, and some of the faculty too. We ended up running games on the sly in my apartment, empty classrooms, and even a conference room in the engineering building one of my buddies had access to on the weekends. Nothing too bad would have happened if someone found out, but it just added to the fun. I sometimes miss the illicit thrill of running a pop-up RPG speakeasy.
Alright, just tell me, you got the goods?
You even have to ask.
Oh my god.
You actually have it.
Yeah. Just get the money. Get it to me quick. Oh my god! Wait!
Eventually, I managed to gather an interested group of players and decided to set my sights on running Lost Mines of Phandelver, at least at the beginning to get the ball rolling. After so long without a weekly game, I was stoked! I helped my friends put their characters together and started them out on the road to town, where they're met by a fallen tree and ambushed by goblins. I knew this bit like the back of my hand, since I've been on the other side of the DM screen for the start of Lost Mines of Phandelver more than once, but when the ambush started, everything that could go wrong started to go really wrong. When we started making characters, a lot of my friends instinctively jumped at classes they were interested in. So we had a party including a wizard, monk, and a paladin. At level 1, they weren't by any means powerful, but they had some decent cohesion and pretty good stats. But they did not kill or even injure a single goblin. Our monk leapt into combat, arms like deadly weapons, and was about as lethal as a wiffle ball. The wizard's firebolts had all the potency of wet birthday candles. Our paladin's mighty blade might as well have been made of tinfoil. In all my years of D&D, I have never seen such an unfathomably unlucky combat encounter. And it was happening at the table with brand new players. I wanted to get them hooked on the game with dice sets that I bought and gave to them. It felt like the devil himself at cosplaying and was trying to drag me back to no D&D hell. I tried to pull punches, but the goblins started chipping away at their HP. Eventually, the paladin went down when a goblin hit a nat 20, followed shortly by the monk and the wizard. I looked my group of player characters all down with nobody left to revive or protect them, and asked if they were cool with ending the session there so I could figure out what I was going to do now. To my amazement, they agreed. You know what they probably thought? They probably thought it was one of those like unwinnable boss fights in video games. Well, it was actually the frickin' tutorial level. We picked it up again next session where they were all revived by a mysterious stranger who informed them that he'd collect on the debt for his kindness later. That ended up being a plot point that was never resolved, since we ended up adding a couple new players and started from scratch, and a couple people decided to change their characters after realizing that their playstyles didn't really fit as well as they thought they would. Monk ended up rolling a druid, and the wizard traded for a barbarian. And we were able to start again with a much stronger and long-lasting party. Membership changed over the years, but I managed to get a bunch of people hooked on the game the same way my friends hooked me. I've got almost a decade of experience with D&D now, and I play with a hybrid of new and old groups. My best friends from both, all gelling really well and sticking together. I've been running a homebrew game for the last 4 years, and trade off with another friend as well so they can DM. I count myself extremely lucky that I have such an incredible group of players and friends, the majority of which are people I either learned to play with or taught to play myself. And if I ever feel like I'm not living up to my own expectations of running exciting combat or making good rulings as a DM, I can always look back and see that it could be worse. Thank you so much for your time. Oof, we got 2 dice horror stories back to back, one last episode and one this episode. And yeah, sometimes the dice just really want to punch you in the nuts. I think a big takeaway here, though, isn't necessarily the dice, it's the playstyle bit, because I found that to be really interesting. A lot of people jump right into a full campaign with characters that are supposed to last for years. And I don't think that always works, man. I mean, you pick a class, and it's not a class that you actually enjoy, you're probably stuck with that character. Baldur's Gate 3 actually has a really ingenious solution to this, with every character being able to change their class basically at whim through the use of withers. But in real life, you don't need an NPC to be able to do that. I mean, maybe you should just do some experimental one-shots. Let people try out the classes first so they know, hey, this is actually going to be fun. I plan to do that when I start playing Draw Steel, because you don't really know what you like until you try it. In the first year of university, my then girlfriend, now fiance, met the DM, the problem of this story. We wanted to play D&D for a while, and he searched for new players and friends after moving. So we built our characters, mine, a female changeling fighter, my girlfriend, a male ASMR wizard. First red flag we kind of ignored was a joke that we should roll for the certain body parts significant for our respective genders, like our melons and eggplants. Wait, are melons boobs? Why are melons boobs, specifically? You could just put any round vegetable there. We laughed about it. We weren't thinking much about it at the moment. In the first session, he introduced his DMPC, a female elven bard, with hot fan art he drew himself, and with the name of the girl he told us he was dating at the time. After like 2 more sessions, he started to tell me that my fighter would die in the first encounter we would face, and after that, I should play a player character he designed for me, a hot kitsune bard, because he thought it would be more fitting for me. Bro, okay, this is one of those ALO things I don't understand, okay? Hot goth girl? I get it, alright? Rugged warrior man? Totally understand. Fox? No, I don't. Why? I loved my fighter. She was an amazing knight-like warrior girl with muscles, some scars, and a love for lavender soap. I searched up and down for creative ways to save her because I thought he tried to just like warn me that she just wasn't built for the encounter to come, but he denied everything I tried. It only hit me later that he most likely didn't like her because she was not a sexy female his NPCs would want to flirt with. But that's not the reason he was horrible, maybe a little, but the worst was yet to come, which... Come on, man, how is that not the bad part? While he talked crap about my character, he introduced his girlfriend in the same session. She was, and still is, one of the most amazing human beings in the world. All 3 of us got along immediately. After DM realized we were seeing her outside the game and his mood on her turned sour, he told us she was jealous all the time and she would cheat on him. So we were there for him, telling him he should break up with her and talk things out with her. He just talked about the nice guys like him always got treated this way and she's so perfect, so he deserves this. The whole thing was just kind of fishy. She didn't seem like the kind of person who would do something like that. So we decided to have a talk with her so we could mediate some understandings or help him to let go. We talked to her, and to our surprise, they weren't a couple. They weren't even dating. We eating good today, people. She thought they were just friends because she already had a boyfriend way before she met the DM. He even knew her boyfriend. So the guy he told us she was cheating with was her boyfriend all along. She even showed us multiple messages where she told the DM she wasn't interested in him, that she had a boyfriend, so on. She confronted him, and he apologized, saying he was just an innocent guy and so in love with her. He thought if we talked good about him, she would fall for him because he has female friends, so he couldn't be a creep. Spoiler, both is an option. He begged us for forgiveness and wrote her a medieval poem as an apology. She decided to give him another chance. Bro, what was in that poem? I need to know now.
Hey, look, man, I don't know if I'm comfortable with you staying put in the game. I think some things are gonna need to... No, my lady! Stop these hideous words, for they fall on my ears like knives upon my flesh! Please, do not abandon me! I think I will... In bitter night, I walk 'neath starless sky, where damsels scorn my heart dost thus repel. Their laughter mocketh from on high, whilst I alone do pace this earthly hell.
1 hour later.
Hey, dude, I thought you were gonna let him down easy. Look, I felt bad, okay? Just girl!
The next session, he made her character drunk and let her roll to see if she would be seduced by the bard he named after her. Talked about how every female in his world was bisexual, and that her character never had such a good time doing cardio with someone else. To say my girlfriend and I, a lesbian couple, were uncomfortable would be an understatement. After that, we met with her and talked about all this stuff again, and suddenly she got very pale and very quiet, and then she spilled everything in one go. She told us that sometime after the first D&D session, where everything was okay, DM wanted to watch a movie with her. While watching, he told her his mom was a physiotherapist or something like that, and that he could help her with her stiff neck. She turned her back to him, and he tried to grab her chest and push himself against her back, rubbing against it. She left immediately and confronted him via messages. He confessed, but gaslighted her into telling herself that she was overreacting, and he just misinterpreted her signals and even lied that he talked to us about it, and we, his female friends, we were on his side. After that, she was scared. She was just hysterical because when other girls said she was wrong, maybe she was. For the record, he never talked about that with us, but he lied about the cheating and jealousy and took screenshots about that, cut out the context, and then shared our opinion. Oh my god, this guy's a freaking supervillain! We compared the conversations to make sure. The next planned session, we confronted DM, and he confessed, talking about how he's an innocent boy. He was like 20 or something. He didn't know what consent even was, and he just thought he was teasing her. Like his male friends and other females he had done similar things with, they never complained. They weren't this emotional. He was the last gentleman, and he didn't know any better. Later, we found out he had done similar things to other girls. Stuff. But both of them didn't want to press charges, and the policeman we talked to told our friend that most certain nothing would come out of this if we filed a report. We were furious, so we did the next best thing. We searched the internet up and down for the telephone number of his parents, which finance his life, apartment, groceries, tuition fees. We told them everything. The father was not surprised. He said something along the lines that he knew this call would come someday. He was furious and told us he would take care of it. As far as we know, he did. He was forced into therapy and deleted every social media platform he has. He still hates my fiance and me because he thinks we're the reason his milady turned against him, despite him being such a nice guy. Yeah, I treated her so well. Why is she so mad at me? For his not girlfriend, everything turned out fine. She's still with her boyfriend. He was very supportive and sweet. She's over the whole thing, and we're still very close. So I am kind of glad we ignored the first red flag. Otherwise, we wouldn't have met her and couldn't have helped her. Now my fiance and I are playing in another group. My fiance is an absolutely wonderful DM, and our campaign is going strong without any creeps. So TLDR, DM essays a player and underestimates femme rage and got his actions snitched on to his parents. Thank you for reading. I hope the ending is as satisfactory to read as it was for us. Indeed, he took a page out of Alana Pierce's playbook. If you don't know, she's a journalist, she's a writer for God of War Ragnarok, she's a YouTuber, she's worn many hats, but unfortunately as a female in the gaming industry, she gets a lot of threats, and she does occasionally tell their moms about that. Unfortunately, from my experience, it's often a more effective strategy than going to the authorities. Doesn't mean you don't try, though, which is what you did, which is good. I really like that you guys took reasonable action. Look, on Reddit, sometimes I see commenters drafting up elaborate fantasies about what they would do, and sometimes they go way too extreme about it, to the point where I don't even think it's about the victim anymore. I think it's just about making themselves look like a hero. But here, these people took reasonable action. They just asked her what happened, she told them, and then they called the guy's parents after trying to go to the cops. They weren't trying to make themselves look like heroes, they were just trying to help her out. More importantly, they actually involved her in that entire process. Remember, the victim is the most important person in the situation. Remembering that is so important to actually getting them real help. In any case, what really matters is that she's doing okay. Wish her all the best and hope she does well in the future. Hey, that's a wrap. If you guys enjoyed, then you might enjoy our video about the false Hydra. I got all dressed up as Shadowheart. It was a lot of fun. It's linked up in the cards. But before you go, please do leave a like on this one and subscribe to Crispy's Tavern so you don't miss any of our content as it comes out. And finally, if you want to leave your own stories or thoughts, you can go down in the comments down below. If you can't think of a comment, leave the comment "not girlfriend" to let me know you made it to the end of the video. Hey, by the way, if you have your own horror stories, you can send them directly to us. There's an email down in the description down below. Send your stories our way for a chance to be featured in one of these videos. But hey, even if you don't have any stories, in essence, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Farewell.
Oh my god.